instead of a bunch of isolated policies that we say is different than the other side, if our policies are based on a set of principles and values that are consistent, then people will recognize the contrast between us and the other side. And as I mentioned this morning, for me, it comes down to you've got one part of America that really believes in centralized power. Centralized political power, which results in centralized economic and cultural power. Those who say that centralized political power does not affect our culture just need to look at the last few weeks at what's happened to the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church was one of the big proponents of Obamacare. But sometimes you've got to be careful what you hope for. Because anytime you give power away to someone in one area, they're going to come back and take it in another. And you don't have centralized political power without concentrated economic power, which corrupts. We saw that in Wall Street, and we just need to remind people Wall Street could not happen without centralized political power, without the big creations of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, without the Treasury just buying and selling trillions of dollars worth of debt as Wall Street is an intermediary. You don't get too big to fail without the help of big government. So our principles are decentralized power, individualistic policies, instead of what's happening now. If you've seen the reports of the growing dependency in America, that 70% of what we spend now at the federal level is on dependency-related projects or programs, where the number of Americans who are dependent on the government is growing exponentially. They become insecure, dependent on government, and then very easy to manipulate at election time, that some conservative or Republican is going to take away something that they've been given. We can't allow this to continue. So what you're doing, this principle-based, that really is outside of, I think, a partisan political fight, is more foundational in nature, and it's really what Americans need to hear. And also hold the Republican Party, and hopefully one day maybe even the Democrat Party, accountable to those principles that make this country exceptional. So I really appreciate what you're doing. You're making a difference, and you're growing. And I'm looking forward to working with you in the future. Thanks a lot.